Welcome to Booklandia, where we review romance novels.
This and every episode are chock full of oversharing and spoilers. Every episode is rated E for explicit.
Hello.
Hello! Hi.
Hi.
As our lovely intro mentioned, this is Booklandia, and I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky.
Holy crap balls. How you doing? Oh my gosh, hello.
Hi.
I guess if I'm doing this intro, I should do it like a real professional. We're going to be talking about Wicked Beauty by Katee Roberts, which is the third book in the Dark Olympus series. But I have a topic I would like to talk about first, tangentially related.
Okay, go for it.
So while I was on vacation, Finn turned to me, or we were scrolling through our phones while at the dinner table because, we're adults and we don't look at each other over a meal. And he goes, "Oh, this is funny." He read me this thing he found that said, "I don't care about your sign. Tell me, if you were a demigod, who would your godparent be?"
Ooh, that is a good
Yeah.
one.
And it's kind of tangentially related to this book since it's about Olympus characters.
Agreed. I've always been partial to Poseidon. This whole
Ooh.
the fluidity of water, being able to pass through places, maybe having the ability to control water in all three of its forms, because it can take all the forms. Yeah, my vote would be Poseidon, I think.
Wow. My first instinct was Athena. Wisdom, intelligence, warrior. Not so much on the virginity thing, but
Yeah,
she seemed really into books and would fight you. Which
for sure.
I could get behind. I want to be a fighter. So the spirit is willing, but the mind
Right.
gets in the way.
Right.
That was my first one. And then we were talking about, how Finn describes me as a house cat. And so I was like, "Oh, so am I Bast? Is it like Bast is my godparent?" My godparent. So, food for thought. I'm really interested. Who would your godparent be? If you're listening, hit us up in the chat. I really like this idea.
Yeah, that would be a good first question on a date. Really weeds out the
Yeah.
people you don't want at the dinner table.
Okay. Okay. So what's a wrong answer here?
Well, so I think if someone is like Aries because balls, I would be like, we're maybe not on the same page. Do you know what I mean? We're maybe not looking for the same stuff.
Yeah, Loki, because I like to fuck around with people.
I mean, yeah, if you say Loki and then because the idea of being a fluid transgender god interests me, yeah, tell me more. But
Yeah.
Loki because I want to shave a quarter of an inch off of your the leg of your chair every day and see if you notice. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Finn was like, "I can't decide. I want a non-malicious trickster god, so I can't choose Loki." And so we were kind of waffling between Coyote and Anansi. And so we're kind of there, and then we went over to the intellectual realm and we were talking about Thoth. So some options. Just
Excellent.
those are acceptable.
I stuck to the Greeks, possibly because that's our topic for today. But interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't really dive into the other gods.
Mm-hmm.
There would be more answers there.
That just reminded me that since I communicate so much as my job, that maybe there's a Hermes. Could talk about some Hermes. Interesting. All right. Now that we're all warmed up, we're thinking about our gods.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about Wicked Beauty by Katee Robert, the third book in the Lore Olympus series. Show us that gorgeous cover.
There she is. So it's a greenish teal background with some apples in the foreground and then one golden apple in the center, arguably having zero to do with anything in this book.
Yeah, is there some mythology that I don't remember about Helen or Patroclus or Achilles? Who are the characters in this book?
Um, I mean, there is the myth of a golden apple, but it's in the
Yeah.
Odyssey, but I don't know that it pertains to them, and it's 100% not in this book at all. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. But thank you for this cover because it puts another square on the ripped bodice romance summer bingo board. Because
Yeah, it does.
this does fit one of the boxes, but
Yes.
it has nothing to do with the book. Just FYI, it's pretty. It's
Mhm.
very pretty.
Mhm.
It fits with the rest of them.
And I I I will admit, so the book 2 is about Persephone and Eros? Is that right? No.
It's not Persephone. It is
Yeah,
Psyche
it's
and
not
Eros.
Persephone. Thank you. And I don't know a lot about that whole story. So, but this one felt the most separated from the original sort of
I
myth.
mean,
Myth is the word.
kind of. She
Okay.
does, so Helen does have an affair with Achilles.
Yeah.
And it's possible that she has an affair with Patroclus at the same
'Cause
time
right.
because right, why not?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Men being with other men was not a weird thing at the time, but as the myth
Yeah.
traveled through a heteronormative puritanical lens, those parts might have been eliminated from the translation. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I liked like I thought that was okay. Like that was
Yeah.
close enough to the OG possibly.
Okay. 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 And they also smooshed in the labyrinth and the minotaur.
Yes.
So, yeah, jumping right to some questions, but I'll pause, time out. Let's tell the people what the book is even about.
Okay. So funny story, very short one before we get to the
Okay.
synopsis. So I wrote this before I went on vacation. Then today I opened this and I was like, "Oh, I need to fill in my parts of the script." And I started filling in the blank spots. And then I was like,
Uh-huh.
"This question seems really familiar, like a question I might write." And then I was like, "Wait, it's in my spot and I've been filling out your spots. Wait, all the rest of these questions were written by a smarter, earlier me." Well, shucks. So I did write this copy, but I have
Mm,
zero
mm.
recollection of what it is. So just a
Well,
heads up.
then you should read it. You
It
should
is
absolutely read it
chunky.
then.
It is a lot. All right.
You
I
read
can
it and weep.
all right, I can try. I can try. Here is my explanation of what this book is about in 30 seconds or less. Are you going to cut me
3,
in?
2, 1. Blah.
Helen, Patroclus, and Achilles are all competing in a contest to be the next Ares, while also trying to keep Helen from being assassinated by mysterious strangers. Achilles has always known that he would win. Patroclus set his sights on making sure that dream becomes a reality. Helen never wanted to be anyone's prize, so she must win the title to take control of her own life. Now they are tangled together both physically and emotionally and are not sure how they could possibly get out of there with their hearts intact.
Hey! Well done. Well done.
Also, that
Um,
was not
yeah,
bad as an
that was not
explanation of
bad.
this.
Yeah,
Well
it
done, previous me.
was lovely. Pre-vacation you, thumbs up.
Thumbs definitely way up. Yeah, so that's basically the story. So the bit where
Yeah.
it goes off the original Olympus rails is that that the three of them or any of the other characters have an opportunity to become Ares. And all of the
Mhm.
titles are replaceable. Um
Yeah.
and and that became, so there's a little bit of a thing, and I don't know if I put this into one of the questions, but I'm gonna
It coulda
ask.
it could have been that second round of questions you put in for me. And, like, if
Right.
any of your questions are smarter than the questions I wrote and will be asking you, just jump in. I'm cool with it. I don't it's whatever.
So my only it's not really a question, it's a comment, and I've
Mhm.
told you this offline. My only confusion here was about the fact that there's sort of like there's this world building that happened to create
Mhm.
this world that is both Olympus and modern day, and
Mhm.
these are both mythological creatures and also real people who ascend into positions of power that are titled Ares
Mhm.
or Zeus or Hera. And then
Mhm.
at one point early on, Helen talks about her deceased father and that she hopes that he is in Tartarus, which implies that there's also a belief system based on Olympus in which they
Mhm.
believe that there is a mythological Tartarus into which the souls of the wicked go. That has never
Mhm.
been explained or approached before because in book 1 we
Yeah.
go to um
The
we we
underworld.
we go to the underworld with Hades, but we go to the
Mhm.
underworld, the real life place with a little bit of magic in it. It is never
Yeah.
explicitly told to us that everyone in the underworld is dead. They are just people who live on that side of the river Styx. And
Yeah.
so implying that there is Tartarus, the
Punishment death place.
implies that there's also like a mythical
Mhm.
space as well as a real
Mhm.
space, and that wasn't clear enough for me
Yeah.
from I want to say historical, obviously this isn't historical, but from
Right.
like the way that I
Literal
formulate
literature. Yeah.
yeah, the way I was formulating this world. It was like, wait, we believe in Tartarus, so that means that there's like the underworld,
Mhm.
the real life place, and then the underworld, the mythical place, and then we can go there too. But like, I need
Yeah.
more. I'm really hoping the
You got
other
confused.
many books, because Katie Robert did announce that
Yeah.
there are many more books in this series. I'm really hoping that those books explain some of this in a little more depth.
Mhm.
So that's my if
So
that was confusing for you guys, it was confusing for me as well.
so I went out to dinner with my this is not a sidebar, it matters. I went out to dinner with Finn and our friend, and we were talking about romance novels, and I really love talking about romance novels with men who have read romance novels. It's one of my all-time favorite things. And so Finn was describing Neon Gods and the premise of Neon Gods, and he said that he thought that when you ascended into a title of the seven, Zeus, Hera, whatever, you also got those powers. You became a god. And I was like, "No, that is not how I read it. I completely disagree." And he goes, "But Hermes speaks in the voices of the people she delivers messages for and can get in anywhere." And I'm like, "What if that's what made her good for the job?"
Right.
And so like he didn't agree. He was like, "Powers, it involves powers. There are powers involved." But honestly, the only magic I can quantify from these books is the river Styx and the
Right.
barrier there.
The barrier, and like they feel physically uncomfortable crossing the
Mhm.
barrier.
And
That is
and the barrier around Olympus. Yeah.
right. Those are the only two things that are metaphysical. Everything else is very real, and they're real people,
Yeah.
and all of their
That's a
power is theoretical and not factual.
But
Um,
apparently you can read into some actual power. Like that's a perspective readers can have. So
right. All right. That's cool.
maybe she's hedging that line. She's very good at towing lines, that Katie Robert.
That is true.
Um
Okay.
so this book gave me I'm gonna
Go
go.
go.
This book gave me major like Maze Runner, Hunger Games vibes. Did you get the same vibes?
Oh, everybody got those vibes. Like that's literally how it's being referred to. It's being referred to as a spicy triad Hunger Game style where she gets
Mm,
to keep them both.
well. Oh. Oh. It's everything I ever wanted. Excellent. I'd read that fan fiction. Great. Great. Cool. Yeah, there's an actual maze with so in the participants for this Ares title, the Minotaur is also there. So like literally running through this maze, fighting off the Minotaur, like so literal. I thought that was a really clever like fold in of another story. It's delightful. It was delightful.
Yes, it was really good. Now, this was very action-packed by comparison to the previous book.
Yeah.
Which pace did you prefer?
This one, the second book, I could not, it was not, I did not finish any sentences about it because that's how I felt about it. It was just very blah. It's kind
Full
of blah.
agree. Full agree. Yeah, I'm really glad that I came back to the series because the second
Yeah.
one was such a flat pancake, so crepe.
Mhm.
Nothing against crepes, but it was just very, yeah, it was very bland and very blah, and there's a lot of um things to talk about that aren't wonderful about it. And then this book knocked
Mhm.
it out of the park, and so I'm really glad that I
Yeah.
came back to it. Okay, this is an
Yeah. It
extremely
was
important
pretty great.
question. Out
Yes.
of the three, who is your
Okay.
favorite?
Patroclus, Achilles, and Helen.
Yes. So
It's
the
Patroclus.
right? Okay, so
It's
for all of you who
Patroclus.
have not read this yet, Achilles is brawny and strong, and there's a lot of mentions of
Bossy.
his golden skin. Very bossy, but in the best way. Um, and then Helen is a badass, but she's
Mhm.
like, they keep calling her the princess. We'll get to that. I did not enjoy that one bit.
Yeah.
Um,
She wears a lot of cat suits.
she wears a lot of cat suits, which was another kind of Hunger Gamesy nod that
Mhm.
like they all had to dress up for the arena. And
Yeah.
um and then Patroclus is the he is the strategist. There we go. Sorry, that word is a lot. Strategist.
I
He
wasn't gonna
wears
save you. I was just gonna see what came out.
He wears some Superman glasses, which I kept forgetting about
Mhm.
until they kept getting them broken.
Yep.
And like hot nerdy vibe is his entire vibe. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, no, Patroclus
Yeah.
also my favorite.
Look, I have a really strong thing for lanky, lean, muscly swimmer types. I can't not. And then also smart? Yes. Like Ravenclaws all the way.
I had to think about that.
You're
I was like, wait, we're
yeah.
switching mythologies. Hold please,
Yep.
brain
We're
computing.
crossing all this. I watched your face go blank. It was fantastic. Um Yeah, like Patroclus in like I understood him with Achilles, like bossy Achilles, like more submissive, like tender mental Patroclus. Like Patroclus and Helen made a lot of sense. They connected on emotional level. They like wore their hearts on their sleeves for each other. But I did not get Achilles Helen. I didn't get it. I didn't care about it. He bossed her around. She was like, fuck you. And then he kept like picking her up and carrying her places. It's just not, there was no emotional connection there to warrant that relationship for me. I didn't buy in.
Okay. Well, I think to firstly, I guess a personal question. Have you ever had a hate fuck in your life?
If I can't remember, it's probably a no.
It's probably a no. They're memorable. They like
Okay.
rip the paint off the walls memorable. You do
Hmm.
it because the energy in the room is literally going to melt glue. It's intense.
All right.
So
Okay.
and that like that first scene and like I have a
Hmm.
lot of issues with the fact that he rips her tights like from the
Yeah.
inseam out because I get it, you're strong man, but who is buying these off-brand Lululemons? Come on now.
But also, like, I get it, you're a strong man. Like, you're ripping cotton. That's no big deal.
I mean,
Like,
and then there's like we also talked about the fact that she's now wearing underwear under the tights, and that's
yeah.
don't do that to your vaginal region. Just don't. Come to my TED talk about how there should be cotton there. Anyways, we'll get to it in a second. My point is that right, like the point of that scene is that they are so charged physically, and they
Hmm.
both need a physical release. That they're the first time they have sex, it's just about that. It's just about getting the frustrating energy out of their system. And I think for a
Hmm.
while, that is what happens between the two of them. Moreover, both of
Mhm.
them are tops, essentially, right? Like if we
Yeah,
were to
yeah.
really break down, that's not, but
Mhm,
they both like to boss people around. And so they're
mhm,
bossing each other around and trying to one up each other is the thing that gets them going. And then
mm,
ultimately, right, they don't work as a pair. They only work when there's all three of them because
yeah.
having Patroclus be the
Mm,
connective tissue between them is what makes them work. Without him, they're just all
yeah,
explosive energy. And
yeah.
he's the one that grounds both of them, which is why it's such a perfect triad.
Yeah, that's thank you for pointing out the binary in my thinking of like pairing, 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 not the three of them together. And I do remember reading it and being like, oh, like Patroclus and Achilles are extremes and Helen is the best of both of them. Like she's the middle ground. She's the middle of the Venn diagram. Um, Thank you. Excellent. Well, yes. Yes. Uh, so didn't didn't get the Achilles thing. Thank you for bringing that in. But I also got hung up on the fact of like everybody knows the one thing about the Achilles myth is that his only weakness is his heel. And the book doesn't do anything overt.
But
Or does it?
he he saves Helen, saves Patroclus, doesn't go for Ares, but instead tries to save both of them. In this, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like his Achilles heel is that he cares about them more than he cares about this title. Like
Yeah.
he has a heart, right? He's the Tin Man
Yeah.
who discovers a heart, and his heart is the
Yeah.
heel in this, right? Because that is ultimately
Mm-hmm.
how he loses the title, is because
Mm-hmm.
he checks on Patroclus rather than continuing on to win the rest of it. So I mean, and
Yeah.
he does get arrowed in the leg. He does get pinned in the leg with an
Oh
arrow
yeah.
just so
Yeah.
that you have the visual. But I really think that
Uh-huh.
their well-being, protecting these two people that he loves is the thing that is his heel in
Mm-hmm.
this.
Look, this was a leading question, and that's exactly the answer I wanted to hear. So
Okay,
A
great.
plus gold star. Gold
Thank you.
apple to you. You're welcome.
That's where the apple comes in. Okay, I
Yeah.
want to talk about two things.
Okay.
And the first one is that I cared 0% during any of the spicy, sexy scenes for any of them to call her a princess. And maybe it's just my personal
Mm,
preference, but like I I understood the point and purpose of it, that like
mhm,
they were trying to make her feel precious when no one's ever
mhm.
made her feel fragile and precious.
But I
But
think Achilles did it as a dick move. He did it patronizingly.
right.
So
And then
like it wasn't for that.
yeah, so it was like I don't know. Nothing, I have never been princess in a sexual way
Yeah.
and I don't ever
No.
want to. So it was
No.
it was entirely not my jam. And we're
Mhm.
learning a lot about my sexual adventures again. This is what Katie Robert does to me.
Apparently.
Sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry. I'm very proud, obviously, but
Right, right, right. We did like we have the opener and it tells the
it
people the
warrants.
things and we are
Warrants.
delivering today.
But
Yeah, yeah, the princess thing is not my bag either. And I just finished her first book in her Wicked Villain series, which is a Jasmine Jafar retelling. And Jafar is the Dom and Jasmine is the sub, and he calls her Princess too, I think. And or it's one of the nicknames he uses for her. And it's a power play. It like this is a Katie Roberts like staple.
I
Princess is the
see.
power play.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, in the Jafar Jasmine one, it kind of makes sense because that's from the movie. Like he calls her princess in the movie, so I
Mm-hmm.
can sort of see borrowing that. Here, it
Yeah.
was, I don't know. That's just an endearment that I've never associated with a good thing or a sexy thing,
Or
so it didn't,
with a good time.
or with a good time, exactly. So it didn't work for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it works for someone.
Yeah.
Now the other thing
What
I have to say,
so,
mhm.
oh, it's just very quickly. So this Wicked Villain series is in this world. So
Oh,
outside of Olympus, there's this whole other world, and I think they've mentioned some other places, and the place where it takes place, I think, is one of those other places. So I think she's done a little like very loose spider webbing of her story worlds.
interesting. All right, all right. I might
Yeah.
have to go check that out. Um,
All right.
so the other comment I have is that I needed an epilogue, and that epilogue needed to be a
Mm-hmm.
sex scene. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
like, wait, we're ending this extremely hot story on a conversation in an office,
Mm-hmm.
and then there
Yeah.
isn't like an afterward. What?
I do we and I don't think there is, maybe there is one, but like we now live in this world where authors provide bonus epilogues. Is this that situation where you have to subscribe to the newsletter or something? And we
I
do
mean,
subscribe, so I can't remember if there is one.
maybe there is not one yet. There's been a couple of
Mm-hmm.
others. I actually just looked today before we
Mm,
recorded, so I can make that comment.
yeah,
But there's one about Hades, which I need to go back and read. There's one about
yeah.
Medusa, but there isn't one about these three.
I'm so sorry. About who?
Medusa,
Hades and then mm,
two separate
mm-hmm.
stories. Not
No, I know.
what's
That's how
wrong?
you say that?
How do
That's
you
how you
say
say
it?
that. Medusa.
Oh, do I have a Z in it and you have an S in it?
Yes,
Okay,
Medusa.
I understand. I understand. I was like,
I've
what's wrong? They're the same, but they're
I've
not.
never heard it said like that before, and I'm like, what? It blew my mind. Okay. Also, I like funny accent things. Okay, good times. Um,
Indeed.
it also it makes me wonder if like there's a exclusive edition. Like I know sometimes her books come out, like she'll do like a Barnes and Noble exclusive edition, I think, and so maybe the Barnes and Noble copies have an epilogue. Like it's just bullshit, and everybody needs the epilogue. Epilogues for everyone.
All I'm saying is that like there's some really excellent sex choreography and I needed more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, they changed the sheets way too many times, but that's neither here nor there.
But it was necessary. No one likes to sleep on the crusty spot.
That's part of the charm, I guess. You pick who today gets to sleep on the wet spot.
I see. I see. Or who does the laundry?
Yes, or who
Who?
does
Okay. Wait.
laundry.
Wait. 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 Before we go to break, and I guess this is going to be a really short episode. But before we go to break, who do you think of the three knows how to fold a fitted sheet?
Patroclus, obviously.
Yeah. Do you think the other two know how to fold a fitted sheet?
No. No, why would they?
That's a correct answer. Again, leading questions everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So much laundry. You got to know how to fold that fitted sheet, man.
Right. Also, yeah, he changed the sheets in the middle of the sex, and then they had more sex on the.
Okay. It
So
wasn't in the middle of the sex, it was after session one,
right,
but before session two.
right, and I guess it
Between
would have been
sexings.
presumptuous of him to like leave it because there's going to be more, but
Right.
but still, I was like, just leave it for a little while longer.
Yeah. Just sleep on top of the flat sheet. It'll be fine.
Yeah, again, I am usually not Patroclus, I guess. So
In in a sheet sidebar. So we went on vacation and we were staying at my mother-in-law's, and she has a fuzzy fitted sheet. So like a fleece fitted
mhm.
sheet that she put on the bed. I've never experienced that before.
Oh yeah, I have
It
a set of
was
jersey.
delightful.
Yeah,
No, not
jersey knit.
jersey. Not jersey. Fleece. Like fuzzy. Like Like, hold on. It's like this. It was like this. I mean,
Oh.
not quite this deep of a nap, so to speak.
Oh.
But it was like, yeah,
Interesting.
fleece. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That's a
So
thing. I did not know this was a
so
thing.
I guess like cold, no, you're from Colorado. Like cold states, maybe it's a thing.
Yeah, so
Uh
that's why Jersey Knit happened. But yeah.
sure. Do you conceptually, not having experienced this, I guess, think that's a sexy thing or a not sexy thing?
Okay, that is a thing you do not get wet. So not a sexy thing immediately.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
right.
also incredibly warm. So
I bet.
like if you're doing it, you're doing it, you've kicked all the sheets off the bottom of the bed and you're doing it a vista.
I
A
love
la
that.
mode.
Mode. Yeah, I mean, I'm also not a fan of silk sheets for sexy
Mm.
times because comedy gold when you slip and slide. Sorry, you just sorry. I did not mean to
It's
have a
okay. It's
spit take
okay.
happen.
It's okay. I held it in. Whew, that's gonna burn. It's burning, but it's okay. I got it. Um, but like you put your legs in the silky sheets and you're like, oh, I feel a little sexy. Like that's how I feel when I'm wearing my silk pajamas, even though they're like 4 sizes too big for me and I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow. I still feel a little sexy with my
Yeah,
silky
no.
pajamas on.
Silky pajamas, totally great. You get in the mood,
Okay.
then you remove the silky bits and you set them aside to do the
Mm,
things you're gonna do, and then you put them back on. It sort of gets us back into like cotton in the places you want
mm-hmm,
cotton to be in. Um,
mm,
because hygienically that would be best. But yeah, no, wet silk is very bad. It chaves,
yes.
it does terrible things, and it disintegrates. So like no one wants that. No one wants
And
that.
can you imagine silk pajamas on silk sheets? Pew! Out of
Oh,
here.
oh, I have attempted that. It was an
Mm,
ill-conceived plot.
brilliant. I would watch that in a movie. I'd watch that hilarious, awkward sex scene in a movie. Fantastic. Fantastic.
In case anyone is making a sex comedy out there, this should be in it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I also just want to take a moment to appreciate you, Sky, because you really care about sexual health. I mean, you've told us to wash our sex toys. You
Please do.
often tell us about the cotton underwears. And like, I just, you care. Your caring just emanates from you.
I'm just saying that the cleaner that situation is, the more sexy times can be on your potential yes list.
Mm,
No
you
one
just want us to have more sex. And
just
that
more
is
yeah.
deeply appreciated.
If sex is your jam, I'm just trying to warn you
Mm.
about no jam in that situation.
Oh, just can we go to break now?
Only if I can find the button. We're going to take an intermission. When we come back, we will discuss our favorite moments from the book and if this book made us want to get naked.
Hello.
Sorry, we're back from break and we are talking about Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. We are also
Yeah.
dying because sometimes I
You
really should.
made the worst pun ever, and I love you so much for it. Okay.
Okay, we're back.
Bring it back. We're back. What would you say your most compelling moment of the book was?
Okay, I very seriously do want to talk about this because I was
Okay.
obsessed with this scene. So, I love there's a scene in the morning after the first time the three of them hook up together, where they are so Achilles and Patroclus are already having coffee, and Helen comes out to join them, or to she comes out to the living room to get some coffee, and Patroclus not only hands her coffee, but he knows how she likes her coffee and has like
Mhm.
done the whatever she needs to the coffee and hands it to her without any kind of like fanfare about it. Like he's just like, here's your coffee.
Mhm.
Like he's done it 1,000 times before. And it's this really
Mhm.
homey moment. And there's actually some internal monologue for Helen where it hits her that this is so natural and easy and it feels so okay to her and like none of her warning bells are going off, but it was just such
Mhm.
a tiny comfort thing that he
Mhm.
took the time to figure out how she likes her coffee and made sure that it was ready for her, that like in terms of aftercare that was like the cherry on the aftercare care cake. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that is hard to say. But yes, that was my favorite moment because it was like, this is the loveliest way that you can care for the other people that you're sleeping with and trying to form a relationship with.
I just have to say, after carrot cake,
After carrot cake is really hard to say.
it apparently it's all hard to say. Yeah, that was I really liked that moment. Yeah. And I think it was kind of her first moment of not being in her head so much, of like feeling a good emotion and recognizing that and perpetuating that. Yeah. I liked that moment too. Um for me, I liked the action, as we mentioned. Like, I liked that really actiony plot. Um, and so the competition for Ares was 3 phases, 3 competitions to weed out into one final winner, obviously. So the first one was basically a 3 ninja warrior mazes, and they had to choose one to complete in 5 minutes, which who doesn't love Ninja Warrior? Like, jump on the thing and fall off. But also they had to fight people. They had to fight off other people while they were competing in this weird crazy maze. Delightful. I could picture the whole thing. It was so visual for me. Then the second one was the maze, as I mentioned, with the Minotaur as a competitor. And Helen just was like, I'm gonna parkour up to the top of the maze and run along the top like a smarty pants. Loved it. It was great. Which was that's where I got the Maze Runner vibes. It was so good. And then like the third one was like, fight to first blood and you have to stay in the circle. And like they mentioned the circle and no one got pushed out of the circle. So I felt like missed opportunity there. But like lots of sand. It was very like I am Spartacus, like gladiator style. I liked all of those moments. I liked all those actiony moments. Uh, your hot take.
Okay, so I can't even hot take properly. Okay, so firstly, I
All
literally just
flustered.
I bit my tongue trying to explain this. So
Are you
firstly, if
blushing? Okay, okay, okay.
So firstly, here's what it says in my hot take. Hell yes. Um
Mhm.
there are some very well choreographed moments that fogged up my glasses, is what it says.
Uh-huh.
There are some really well choreographed moments. Like there are two people
Yeah.
sex scenes that I'm sometimes, wait, what? Where did this person's
Uh-huh.
leg go? I don't understand. This is a
How long is
three
their
person,
torso?
right?
Yeah.
This is a three
Yeah.
person, three POV sex telling, and I was like, yes, I know exactly what's going on and where it's all
Mhm.
going, and more
Mhm.
please.
Mhm.
So
And
yeah.
I think what really worked there is that it wasn't it was it was kind of simplistic. It was like, and I did this and it was great and it felt great, and like it wasn't flowery, it wasn't overwrought. It was just very like, and then I had to do this to them. It was like cool.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately in hot takes, so a lot of this book is threesome sex. So, be
Mhm.
prepared for that if that's not your
Yeah.
bag. Like if that's really not your bag, this is maybe not for you. Moreover,
Mhm.
I think this book, so if you loved Neon Gods and then you read um the Electric
Electric
Idol
Idol.
and it was like it was for us, This
Mhm.
definitely comes back to the Neon Gods level of like, and whenever they weren't doing it, there was internal and external conflict, there
Mhm.
was politics, there was mythology and world building,
Yeah.
and so it was interesting both inside and out of the bedroom. So hot take is hell yes.
Yeah. I definitely could have used, so Helen was friends with Dionysus and Hermes, and I could have used, like, that's the maybe an epilogue I would also read. It's just like the three of them having margaritas at a girls' night. Like, I just want that scene. Can we just have like the three of them? I This series has not given me enough Dionysus and Hermes, and I'm a little mad about it now. I just got a
Well,
little
not
mad,
yet.
just a
Just
flare.
not yet. They stay throughout, right? They're the messengers and the revelers through the entire thing. Like this time we
Rude.
learned that Dionysus is ace and he just hangs out and
Yeah,
like watches other people have fun and that's his fun. So
that's true. That's true. I just really like the like manic pixie of Hermes, and I like the like drunk whatever of Dionysus. I love their oppositeness. Yeah, okay, fine, 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 fine. I'll wait. I'll keep holding my breath. It's fine. It's totally fine. Um my hot take is yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. We don't I don't read enough thruples. Did I say it right?
you did. You did good.
Okay, okay, okay. Ugh. I used to not say it right, and now I'm self-conscious about it. Okay. So, but like, even though I didn't really like Achilles and I didn't go for his whole vibe, uh, and I could have just read a Helen Patroclus thing, like I really would have gotten into that. It was still very hot. Now, if you want more two partner sex with only a little bit of three partner sex, I'm gonna refer you back to Desperate Measures, the other Katee Robert book I mentioned. It's a lot of two-person heterosexual stuff, but then they get a little threesome action because it's about a sex dungeon, so there has to be. And then there's a lot of voyeurism. So, recommend.
Excellent. And now we learn a little bit
Yeah.
about you.
Look, uh, I'm it's very nice fantasy. It's good fantasy. I mean, that, like, we talked about that a little bit on the Neon Gods episode about the voyeurism and how it's kind of a turn on. For me, I think it's a turn on conceptually, and I don't know that it would be a turn on literally, in actuality. Um, yeah, but and like that book also has dom sub, and like, again, in a fantasy, sexy reality, I don't think I could handle that. So, I don't know. But it is making me think about those things. Like, is this turning me on because of the book context or because of the sexual context? Do you find that you need both, like the story and the sex scenes to connect, or can one thing can you have like can the sex be sexy just for the sex scene sake?
I mean, we've read some erotica for erotica's sake, and
Mm-hmm.
it is just like one sex scene begets another ad nauseum, and
Mm-hmm.
it just is that, and it doesn't have any
Mm-hmm.
other purposes, and that's fine. I think in order for it to be a sustainable series, I needed to have a
Yeah.
storyline outside an external storyline outside of just the bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
because something needs for my brain something needs to also get connected on an emotional level that I don't
Yeah.
know can happen in just sex scenes. So,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, series longevity, I think this is great. Um, in terms of like a titillating story. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
like we read Katie Roberts has a short story about Krampus. And it is
Okay. I'm so sorry. How did you
no,
say that?
no, you're gonna say it for me now.
Krampus?
Krampus with an A?
It's an,
Krampus?
that's how it's spelled.
Okay. All right. Sure. Honestly, that could be anything. But
Okay. So
um
hold on. I've got serious lens flare happening. Let me
I see
adjust.
that. I see that it's very, very angelic over on your side.
Thank you.
Um
Thank you.
I see you. So anyway, so my point there is that she does have that short story has 4 sentences of exposition and 40
Yeah.
pages of very long tongue action. So
Mm-hmm.
like there is we know very little outside of
Yeah.
this crazy bedroom, and it was surprisingly hot. I
Yeah.
finished reading that and went, I didn't know I was into reading any of those sentences, and now that I've read them,
I want more, please, and thank
yeah,
you immediately. Yeah. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
so I
think
don't think it's necessary, but it is nice.
yeah, no, I think I agree. Like Krampus was very sexy, and I think I came in knowing that it was going to have a really high sex to page ratio, and Desperate Measures also has a really high sex to page ratio. It's very erotica, whereas these books have a, like, I think an appropriate or normal, quote unquote, amount on the sex to page ratio. And so, in fact, might be the more expositional, like external story driven series. Uh, this is the good range. I like either a whole lot of sex with, to the regular or slightly more than regular amount, but like lots of outside with not a little sex, with only a couple of sex scenes. It's just really hard for me. I'm not into it.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
but I do need some sort of emotional connection, and that because that amps up the sexual moments for me. Yeah. Great. Well, what are you reading next? What are you going to
Uh,
read after this? Or what have
so
you read after this?
I quite a bit, quite a bit. No, now I'm thinking that I should go back and read these short stories that are in between the other Dark Olympus things, because so Katee Robert
Mm,
just released um some art created by some fan art. One of them has
mm-hmm.
Medusa on it, and Medusa, I can't with the soft S is messing with me.
Medusa. Okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
and whoever she is hooking up with has horns, and I need an explanation. Like, I don't know who it is,
That's
but
that's not from the story from Stoneheart.
oh,
So,
okay.
okay,
So it's from
interesting.
something else.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm suddenly allergic to something, so I might sneeze it. Apologize for that. Excuse me.
It's okay. Gesundheit.
Thank you. So yeah, so that's where
Okay.
I'm at. But short of that, I am currently reading the second Bare Knuckle Bastards, and
Mhm.
we're gonna do an episode on the first Bare Knuckle Bastards, and I'm gonna be able to say that word. Probably, maybe not. I don't know. Come see that episode. Um,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Um, and I'm really liking it. It's
Mhm.
also quite spicy, but not
Mhm.
not to Katee Roberts' spiciness levels.
No. No. It's
So
spicy for being a historical
right,
romance.
exactly. So this is
Uh-huh.
all wet sheets that need laundering, and that is
Mhm.
all um what are underpants because it's historical.
Sure. Great. Yes.
What are you
What
reading?
are underpants? Oh my goodness. Well, I talked a lot about Desperate Measures. What did I also have read? Um, I apparently am in a Katee Robert kick because I also read the first book of her Deal with a Demon series, The Dragon's Bride, which is so Desperate Measures and Dragon's Bride are kind of novella length. They're like 200, 300 pages. They're shorty quickies. In A Dragon's Bride, we learn that I don't think I'm into monster dong.
Which
The
is
dragon
surprising
happens to have
considering how much you liked Blue Alien Dong.
yeah, there's something about fuzzy blue penises with a spur versus two penises stacked on top of each other that just, I guess there's a line there. There's somewhere there's a line.
So no double
And
decker dicks for you.
no double decker dicks for me. But I think it was also like they'd bang until they orgasmed and then he'd put her on his other cock. And I'm just like, and that's actually like not, that was almost exactly how she wrote, like, and then he put his other cock and banged me. Like, I just like a little bit more something.
I have
It's
so
just,
many physiological questions now. Like, does one of them go
okay.
flaccid and then the other one go hard? And is that a weird
Mm.
side? Or are they both hard at the same time?
I don't remember that. I don't think I imagined that they both were hard. And then when neither of them were hard, they tucked into like a little pocket, body pocket. And
Okay.
My question with all dragons, well, I guess this guy didn't turn into a dragon. He was just part dragon. But anytime someone shapeshifts into a dragon, that happens with Ruby Dixon in the Ice Home series. My biggest question is, when you shapeshift and you're a much larger animal, your dong scales? Like, how big is a dragon dong? Like,
how big is that
tell
dragon, I
me.
guess? If it's like a humanoid size, then
Right. In that book, his head was as big as a car.
yeah,
So if his head was as big as a car, yeah,
that's a tree
the
trunk.
dong. Thank you. I was like, I can't even conceive of a size. I can't. My brain doesn't scale to 400 times.
Anytime you need a tree trunk visual.
Thank you. Anywho, so not into double-decker dongs. And I won't say I'm sad about it. It's just, just figuring out where these sexy boundaries lie, just more and more and more. I'm not opposed to reading more and experiencing more dragon erotica or monster erotica, as it were. But we've learned a little bit about me too.
There we go. Now we know. We totally need the rainbow graphic.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously not the copywritten one. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom, for that practical commentary.
Okay, it's right next to the put cotton and you next to your vajayjay. It's right there.
Okay.
Don't use copywritten materials, and make sure that your areas of expertise are clean.
I will never call it my area of expertise, but thanks.
But you see, it's expertise.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And I hope you have a lovely day.
And on that note, thank you for joining us for an episode of Booklandia.
For more Booklandia, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at l.skyford, Twitter at skyfordl, and hit up our blog, lskyford.com.
We love you to the moon and back, so don't forget to rate and subscribe.
Our eternal thanks for the audio editing and support provided by Finnegan Murphy, who you can find on Twitter at Finnegan1, that's FIONNEGAN, numeral 1, and sometimes Sky herself.